to the city clerk and the city attorney. This is related to some of our election election codes and election laws that are inconsistent with state laws. And in recent reporting, we've seen the manifestation of incongruity between state law and our city laws. I can just think of one right now. We have in our code that you have to bank in the city of Chula Vista to open up a committee. And even though the banks may have branches all over the state, you have to actually physically open an account in the city of Chula Vista. And so when we hire professional services, that becomes problematic. And so it happened to me. And so I'm seeking consensus from the council to make a referral to the city clerk and the city attorney's office to sometime in late spring that they come back and that we find ways to create no more or no less than state law. I'm not looking to weaken our policies. What I'm looking for is coherence and consistency so that our laws match the state laws. And the rationale that I have is everyone files violations with the FPPC, but the FPPC then refers them back to us because they're not consistent with state law. And for that, I'm hoping that there's consensus to make the referral. And I don't know if it should have gone to the city manager. I'm just thinking the city clerk works with elections and the city attorney's office advises. And I'm just looking for that kind of clarification. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. City attorney, go ahead and see if that would be your bailiwick.
Yes, it is. Next week, Mr. Mayor and Councilmember Preciado, I'm going to be presenting to you very briefly, I'd hoped to do it more comprehensively, some basic terms for update of our campaign contribution ordinance that includes any number of provisions that are either inconsistent with the laws or are ambiguous and have presented issues and challenges for candidates and, frankly, probably in the view of a lot of people in the public, loopholes and opportunities, to circumvent the intent, of those rules. And so what I would hope to be able to do, so I guess my point is you probably don't need the referral. I've got, that's going to be one of the elements of a draft campaign contribution ordinance that I am going to deliver to you next week for you to look at, think about, and decide what process you may want to go through in order to get that over the finish line. What we had previously, but again weren't able to bring this project to fruition, was an effort that I described publicly to the group to make this comprehensive update, including the item you described, Member Preciado, working through an ad hoc subcommittee of the City Council comprised of Madam Mayor Salas and Councilmember Padilla, and we just didn't get done. With them leaving and me leaving and other competing priorities, we didn't get done. So I'll have, again, a brief summary of kind of things I'm talking about and a not final draft, but a substantial draft of those updates to deliver to you next week. Potentially going forward, this council could consider forming an ad hoc subcommittee of yourselves to get that analyzed and updated, ideally before there's another major election season, so that those updates can go into effect, be publicized, and then be known and required to be followed at the next batch of significant elections for 2024.
So if appropriate, I'll withdraw my request and
look forward.
Use your microphone.
For the record, I withdraw my request for a referral pending the presentation. It may not be sufficient.
Yeah, you may not like it, so you may want to refer it back anyway.
Okay, Member Chavez.